Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Gopi Janna Vadaba Girivaradari. Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivaradari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivaradari. Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivaradari. Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivaradari. Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivaradari. Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Vishnupad Paramahansa Prabhupada Srimad Divine Grace to the A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Ananta Gaura Vaishnava ki jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai, ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Prem Sika host Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Swasti Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gogopalya Samakun Vadakun Giri Govardhan ki jai, Shri Vrindavanam ki jai, Shri Maya Purnavadam ki jai, Ganga Maya ki jai, Jamuna Maya ki jai, Tulsi Devi ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Samaveda Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Transcendental Book Distribution ki jai, Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Go Premanandi. All glory some devotees, all glory some devotees, all glory some devotees, all glory Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Is it possible to get a cup of water? Oh, he's getting? Okay. Which verse are we on? This is Canto 4, yes, chapter 17. Text 12. Okay. Maitreya Vacha Pratu Prajanam Karunam Nasamya Paridevitam Dirgham Dadyao Kurushrestha Nimitam. So Anvapadita Maitreya Vacha Pratu Prajanam Karunam Nishamyam Paridevitam Dirgham Dadyao Kurushrestha Nivitam Honopadyata Maitreya Vacha Pratuprajanam Karunam Nishamyam Paridevitam Dirgham Dadyao Kurushrestha Nimitam Honopadyata Maitreya Vacha Pratuprajanam Karunam Nishamya Paridevitam Dirgham Dadyao Kurushrestha Nimitam Honopadyata. Maitreya Vacha Pratuprajanam Karunam Nishamya Paridevitam Dirgham Dadyao Kurushrestha Nimitam Somvapadyata. Mataji's Maitreya Vacha Pratuprajanam Karunam Nishamya Paridevitam Dirgham Dadyao Kurushrestha Nimitam Somvapadyata. Maitreya Vacha. Thank you. Pratuprajanam Karunam Nishamya Paridevitam Dirgham Dadyao Kurushrestha Nimitam Somvapadyata. Maitreya Vacha. The great saint Maitreya said, Pratu, King Pratu, Prajanam of the citizens. Karanam, pitiable condition. Nishamya, hearing. Paridevitam, lamentation. Dirgham, for a long time. Dadyau, contemplated. Kurushrestha, Ovidura, Nimitam, the cause. Saha, he. Anvapadita, found out. Translation. After hearing this lamentation and seeing the pitiable condition of the citizens, King Prithu contemplated this matter for a long time to see if he could find out the underlying causes. Next text. Iti vya vasito buddhya praghita sarashana sandadhe visikame krudhas tripura hayata. Having arrived at a conclusion, the king took up his bow and arrow and aimed them at the earth, exactly like Lord Shiva, who destroys the whole world out of anger. Purport. King Prithu found out the cause for the scarcity of food grains. He could understand that it was not the people's fault, for they were not lazy in executing their duties. Rather, the earth was not producing sufficient food grains. This indicates that the earth can produce sufficiently if everything is properly arranged, but sometimes the earth can refuse to produce food grains for various reasons. The theory that there is a scarcity of food grains due to an increase of population is not a very sound theory. There are other causes that enable the earth to produce profusely or to stop producing. King Prithu found out the proper causes and took the necessary steps immediately. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshram Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Mukram Kotavachalang Pangum Lang Hayate Gurim Yat Kripa Tadaham Bande Sri Gurum Dinataranam Vanchakalpatubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Devacha Patitanam Bhavanevyo Vaishnavevyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Anad Bhavanti Bhutani Parjanyad Anasambhava. That all living entities, they subsist on food grains. Food grains, they come from rain, and rain comes from sacrifice. So, here, Mother Bhumi, she's not giving grains, probably vegetables too. People were in scarcity because the kings were not acting properly. So she was withholding. So King Prithu, he Shaktivesh avatar, right? Shaktivesh avatar. Very powerful living entity. So he's going to correct the situation here. And that's what Shaktivesh avatars, that's what Vishnu Tattva living entities do, is they correct the situation. Just like age of Kali is a very degraded age. So Krishna very kindly sends great souls to help the situation. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Prabhupada, to help society. In one purport, Prabhupada says, That the pure devotee, he doesn't have a material body because of his being surcharged with the current of Krishna's identical interest. So this is the pure devotee. Their interest is one with the interest of Krishna. In this way, a devotee is one with Krishna, but in interest. Just like Krishna, he says, Yada yada hi dharma sha glanir bhavati varta abhutanam dharma sha tadamanam surjamyam. That whenever there's a predominant rise of irreligion and a decline in religious practice, at that time I descend myself. So Krishna comes to correct the situation by giving us knowledge. Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. In one verse in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna, he says that Jayato vasayang pungsos sangosti supajayate sangat sanjayate kama kama garopajayate. He says, while contemplating the objects of the senses, one develops attachment from them. And from such attachment, lust develops. But if we contemplate the instructions of Krishna in the Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, we become attached to Krishna. And then we develop our love for Krishna. So better to contemplate the instructions of Krishna than to contemplate the senses, right? This way we advance in spiritual life. Yeah. We can't avoid attachment. We have to be attached to something. Just like sometimes you might meet people that meditate. They're trying to become clear of all thought, right? Become clear of all thought. But that's also a thought. So we can't avoid thoughts, we can't avoid attachment, but we can think of Krishna, we can become attached to Krishna. Just like Krishna, he says, Man mana bhava mad bhakto majaji mam namaskar. He says, always think of me. We have to think of something. So better think of Krishna. Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, offer your homage unto me, and thus you'll come to me. Krishna is the most pure. Vedyam pavitram omkara. The Krishna is the goal of the Vedas, and he is that which purifies. Krishna is so pure that however we come in contact with Krishna, we get purified. Just like so many ways we get purified. We take prasadam, we get purified. We read Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, we get purified. By association with devotees, we get purified. But we have to take it very seriously, with sincerity. Many times Prabhupada would use these two words, but they're very similar. Sincerity. What does sincerity mean? Sincerity means genuine. And serious means thoughtful. Thoughtful. Like when we're reading Prabhupada's books, we should not just read it like a novel, but actually really try to grasp the message. Like sometimes you might have had the experience, you read a whole page and nothing went in. Isn't it? Like sometimes we're chanting japa also. We chant a whole round and we didn't hear one mantra. It happens because the mind, the flickering mind, what was it? Arjuna, he says, Chanchalam himana Krishna pamati balavadrudam tashyaham nigraham vairya vichaduskaram. He says that the mind it's flickering here and there, everywhere. It's like you might have noticed during japa, it's flickering. It's so hard to concentrate. Because the mind is flickering. And Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, the mind is a non-devotee. It's a non-devotee. It doesn't want to hear. Therefore, it doesn't want to hear about Krishna. In the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. What does the mind want? The mind is like a child. Prabhupada said the mind is like a child. A child has to be watched constantly, like a 1-year-old child has to be watched constantly. Because everything they see, they want to put in their mouth. Anamaya. So they got to be watched constantly. So he said the mind is like that. The mind is always going here or going, they got to bring it, no, don't go over there. Just like the mother has to tell it, no, don't go over there, don't do that. Like I was with one friend yesterday in Botswana, and his child was putting a plastic bag over his head. Hey, don't do that, don't do that. You can kill yourself that way. So, they don't know. So the flickering mind doesn't know what is best for us. But Krishna, he lets us know what is best for us. Be Krishna conscious. Krishna bhakti rasabhavitamiti kriyatam yadi kutopi labhyate tataloyam apimuyam janmakoti sukuterna labhyate. That pure love for Krishna cannot be attained by performing pious activities for many thousands of years or thousands of lifetimes, but it can be attained by paying only one price, and that is intense desire. Intense desire. That's the price that we pay to attain pure devotional service. Focus, 100% focus on Krishna. Thinking of Krishna. Acting for Krishna. Brahmarpanam brahmahavir brahmagna brahmanahutam brahmaiva tena gantavya brahmakarma samadhina. That one who is fully engaged in Krishna consciousness is sure to attain the spiritual kingdom because of his full contribution to spiritual activities, in which whatever he consumes is absolute, and that whatever he gives is also absolute. So whatever we accept is in relation to Krishna. Right? We only accept Krishna prasadam. I was just reading in the Nectar of Instruction, Prabhupada says that if we eat food prepared by non-devotees, the heart becomes wicked. Therefore we only honor that which has been offered to Krishna. So we only accept prasadam. We only read books in relation to Krishna. Like there's so many books, there's millions of books out there, but they're all contaminated by material consciousness. Karmis are writing these books. Why? So they can make money. Sell their book and make money. The three most read books. Who knows what are the 3 most read books in the world? Anybody know? The 3 most read books in the world. Bible, Harry Potter, and Bhagavad Gita. Somehow Harry Potter got it. Kali Yuga. It's a Kali Yuga book. Yeah. And, you know, sorcerers and witches and warlocks and people like this stuff. Yeah. So we don't read these things, though. We don't. Prabhupada said, we don't. My devotees, they don't read the newspaper, because what is a newspaper? It's all bad news. It's no good news. It's all bad news. And people, they watch television in the morning. They watch the morning news. All bad news. And then they come back after work and they read and they watch the evening news. More bad news. in Brazil there was one radio station. It was called the Good News Channel. It was just good news. But then after 6 months they had to stop. They ran out of good news. In the material world there's always bad news. Good news, you got to search for it. So we have good news. Every morning we have the Srimad Bhagavatam. Evening they have Bhagavad Gita also. So it's all good news. Prabhupada has come to give us the good news. Krishna comes to give us the good news. So whatever we accept is in relation to Krishna. We only take Krishna Prasadam, we only hear about Krishna. Jai Shri Shri Radha. I was just telling this Prabhu Damodar Prabhu, I travel all over the world. I've seen deities, I don't know, probably maybe 70 temples, 80 temples I've been to. These are the most beautiful deities as far as I could see. So beautiful, just as sweet. Can't get sweeter. You're very fortunate. So, but we're not interested in only in our own good fortune. We want to share the good fortune. Yeah. So therefore, we give out this knowledge. Before I came to Krishna consciousness, I didn't even know there was a such thing as deities. But then when I got books, when I got the Bhagavad Gita, I went to the temple and I found out about deities, about deity worship. Find out so much. But it all begins, most of the time, with a book. Get a book. So we want to give out the good news. There's no better news than what is given in the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Yom mam evam samudho janati purusotam sasara vibhajantivam sarvabhavena bharata. He says, whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he becomes a knower of everything. And such a person becomes wise. And all his endeavors will know perfection. So this is the result of learning the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. We become wise. And all our endeavors will know perfection. And what is the highest perfection? To be Krishna conscious. Yeah. So what we're doing now, by practicing Krishna consciousness, is we're renovating the hearts. We're renovating the hearts. Just like when someone buys an old building, sometimes businessmen, they buy these old buildings and they renovate the building. In America they call it gutting. They have that too here? Gutting. They gut the building. They take everything out. Take everything out and all that's left is walls. Sometimes they even take the doors out. It's called gutting the building. So we're also trying to get everything out. All the garbage out of the heart. We're trying to gut the heart. Get all the junk out of the heart and replace it with Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And filling it with the pastimes of Krishna, the name, form, qualities, pastimes of Krishna. Filling our heart, filling our mind with Krishna. In this way, we get purified. That's the goal, is to become pure. The biggest challenge any of us will face is becoming pure again. The biggest challenge. But this is the goal, to become pure again. It's actually unnatural for us to be impure. It's unnatural for us to not see Krishna, because He's our Father. And because we have this desire to We had this desire to be Krishna, to be the controller, to be the enjoyer, to be the proprietor. We're in this prison. It's a prison. Yeah. And these material bodies, there are prison suits. Just like in prisons, they have the prison suits. So these material bodies, they're prison suits. Yeah. But we can get free. We can get free of these prison suits. Just like I've been distributing books as I travel around. I'm distributing books in the airports. In Joburg, I was distributing books, in Botswana, and all over India. So here in Africa, I've been distributing a lot of books to the Africans. So I tell them, the soul is not black, nor is it white. The soul has no color. And the soul is part of the Supreme Soul, God. So the goal is to engage in yoga. Yoga means connection. It's bhakti yoga, connection. We're trying to connect with God. And when we connect with Krishna completely, then we're completely satisfied. Otherwise, there'll be frustration. Just like there used to be a song when I was growing up called "Can't Get No Satisfaction." Maybe some of you heard that. You can't get no, and all the youth, I can't get no satisfaction. So can't get any satisfaction in the material world. Krishna Bhakta Nishkama At Eva Shanta Bhukti Mukti Siddhikami Stakuli Ashanta. That devotees of the Lord, because they have no material desires, they're satisfied. Kachang Vaching Vang Api Divyarat Nang Aswamin Kutatnosi Vanam Niyache. Dhruva Maharaj, when he was offended by his father and stepmother, he, Kshatriya, a powerful Kshatriya, so he decided to get a kingdom greater than that of his grandfather. Who was his grandfather? Who was his grandfather? Lord Brahma. So he wanted a kingdom greater than that of Lord Brahma. So his mother said, then you have to worship Vishnu. So he went and he meditated. And Narada Muni, he's in touch with everything. He's in touch with practically everything. So he went and said, "Hey, you're just a child. Just go play with the other boys. This is you're getting too serious. He said, "Well, thank you for your advice, Narada, but if you can't give me any help, then continue on your way." So he could see his determination. So he gave him a mantra that we're all familiar with: Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So he was so serious that he went into this meditation. And the first month, all he would take, every 3 days, he would take some fruit and berries. Every 3 days. The next month, every 6 days, he would take some dry leaves or something. Then the next month, he would just drink water every 9 days. Then the fourth month, every 12 days, he would take some air. And then he just went into complete samadhi and stopped breathing. He stopped breathing. It's amazing. He was suffocating the universe because he stopped breathing. And the demigods were like perplexed. And they went to Vishnu. Vishnu said, "It's okay, it's just my dhruva. Don't worry, I'll work it out." So then he was meditating on the Lord in the heart. And then he disappeared. from the heart. And then he was outside. So he opened his eyes and he saw Vishnu was outside. And so he chanted this this verse after Lord Vishnu. He said, "Is there something you wanted? Isn't there something you wanted?" He said, I was searching for broken glass, but now I have found you, my dear Lord. Kachin viching vam api divya ratnam. I was searching for broken glass. What is broken glass? Broken glass has absolutely no value. All you do is you throw it away. Nothing you can do. Actually, I guess they can make they make floor, I guess, with broken glass. So he said, I was looking for broken glass. Now I have found you, the most wonderful gem. The most wonderful gem. Just like I was reading in the Gopal Champu. Now, you know, this nice pastime of this vendor. She was going around and she was offering mangoes. And she was, so this is the bartering system. And Krishna, he was familiar with the bartering system, so he went and he had some rice in his hands. So a little child, you know, so by the time he got there, it was just a little rice. And he gave it to her, and she gave him all these mangoes. So ye yathamam papadyante, all of them as they surrender to me, I reward them accordingly. So even though she just got a few grains, because he had this little hand, she gave him so many mangoes. And what did he do? He filled her basket with jewels. But then when she saw these jewels and Krishna had left, she says, I don't want that. I want to see this little boy. I'm not so interested in these jewels. But if I could just see that boy again, that beautiful Gopal. So this is the real wealth. This is the real wealth. Prema dana vanavyate daridra jivan dasekore vitane more deha prema dana. This is spoken by Lord Chaitanya. You know, in the Shikshashtaka, there's so many verses, nice verses. You chant them every day here. But in between those 8 verses, there's also many nice verses. And this is one of them. Lord Chaitanya says, if one does not have love for Krishna, then one is considered to be a daridra jivan. Daridra jivan means a poor soul. Therefore, my dear Lord Krishna, please engage me in your service, and all I want as salary is love for you. This is the best salary. Better than getting billions of dollars every day. This is the best salary, because this is what satisfies the heart. Money doesn't satisfy the heart. So many frustrated billionaires out there. But if someone surrenders to Krishna, no frustration. Therefore it's stated, Krishna Bhakti Nishkama Ateva Shanta Bhukti Mukti. Those who are desiring material enjoyment, liberation, Bhukti Mukti, siddhi, mystic perfections, material enjoyment, they cannot be satisfied because they have selfish desires. Devotees have no selfish desires. They just want to please Krishna. They just want to serve Krishna. And what pleases Krishna the most? Who knows? What pleases Krishna the most? Yare deka tare kaha Krishna upadesh amara gyaya guru hanataridesh. He says anybody who is teaching this message of Bhagavad Gita is very dear to me, and there'll never be anyone more dear to me than such a person. And Prabhupada said, if you want to please me, distribute books. So this is what pleases the pure devotee the most, and what pleases Krishna the most. Therefore it's stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Tapyante lokatapena sadhava praisojana, that it's very common for devotees of the Lord to accept voluntary austerity to relieve the suffering of the people in general. And this is the highest method of worshipping Krishna. If you want to please Krishna, Sri Sri Radha, Radhanath the most, then go out and give this knowledge to the people, because nothing pleases them more. Every day there's so many offerings being made. You know, there's bhoga offerings, devotees are singing to the Lord, and they're cleaning, so many services are being done here. But when you bring a soul from outside that hasn't been in front of Krishna for maybe billions of lifetimes, nothing is more pleasing. So bringing souls to Krishna is very auspicious. This is what pleases Krishna the most. So we want to bring more and more souls. It's such a nice temple, beautiful temple. So much facility, but it should be there for bringing people to Krishna, giving them an opportunity to surrender to Krishna. So this is very satisfying to Krishna and very satisfying to those who go out to bring people in. So many devotees have told me, devotees that distributed books for many years, practically without exception, they say the best years of their life was when they were distributing books. Why? It's not an easy service. Because they were pleasing Krishna. Krishna's in control of everything, so He's also in control of our happiness and distress. So if we do things that are pleasing to Krishna, you're going to find that you're very happy. That's the result of doing things that are pleasing to Krishna. So He says there's nothing more pleasing than giving this knowledge out to others. Krishna, believe it or not, is feeling some pain because of so much suffering in the material world. Just like a father, he has two sons, and one son goes off and just becomes a degraded malecha, eating meat and chasing women and doing all kinds of criminal activities. It'll be very painful for the father. So imagine the other son that he has goes out of his way to help the bad son, and he goes out and he finds him and he gets an apartment, he takes care of him, and after 6 months or so he's back to being a good civilized person, and brings it back to his father, and he's a good boy again. Imagine how pleased the father will be with that son that went out of his way to bring that son that had become degraded. So that's what we're doing. We go out. Everybody is the son, everybody is the daughter of Krishna. So we're going out and we're trying to bring them back to Krishna. So how pleased Krishna is. One devotee, book distributor, said, Prabhupada, if we're out distributing books and we leave our body, we die, do we go back to Godhead? And Prabhupada said, well, that depends on what you're thinking. Yam yam vapi smaram bhavam chachanti kalevaram tam tam evaiti konte in the tesra. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, that state he will attain without fail. But Prabhupada said, but I promise you, if you distribute books to your last day, Lord Chaitanya will personally come and take you back to Godhead. So that's a promise of Prabhupada. So that's a sure way, a sure ticket back to Godhead. And when we're distributing books, that's what we're doing. We're giving out tickets to the spiritual world. I have this ticket. I'm going around the world, so it's an expensive ticket, very expensive. But when we go out on book distribution, we give out these small books. You know? Sometimes the people here in Joburg, they would give me 50 rand. You know? But that's a ticket to the spiritual world for 50 rand. You know? Pretty cheap. Back to the spiritual world. Lord Chaitanya has come and he's slashed the prices. This is the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. So is there any question or comment or correction? Yes. Microphone is just now coming. In 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 2.5, 1. It's not on.
Hare Krishna.
Hare.
Prabhu, you were mentioning how Bhaktivinoda Thakur said that the mind is a non-devotee, and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati.
Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur.
Oh, okay. And also that the mind is like a 4-year-old child. I'm also thinking of his other quote, that one should beat the mind with a shoe and a broom. It always was one that I found difficult to understand, because I don't think that's the way I would treat a child or a non-devotee. So could you tie that?
Yeah, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he said we should beat the mind 100 times in the morning with a shoe, and 100 times in the evening with a broomstick. So in the early days, devotees took things very literally. So they would, in San Francisco, they would go down to the basement and get somebody else's shoe, and 100 times. And then Prabhupada heard about that, and he said, no. You beat the mind with intelligence. And therefore, that means reading Bhagavad Gita, reading Srimad Bhagavatam. That's where we get intelligence, right? So this is what it means when we beat the mind. We hear scripture. That beats the mind down. Therefore, Prabhupada said, regularly we have to read 1 or 2 hours every day to keep the mind down. Otherwise the mind comes up. Bhakti Tirtha Swami, he had, there's so many japa reform courses, and so he had a very nice thing. Maybe you already know here, since he was a regular visitor here, right? So he would, whenever he would chant japa, and he would find that he was inattentive, his mind had gone off, he would stop chanting, and he would back up 1 or 2 beads, and then he would go forward, just to check the mind. Otherwise, we all know the mind just keeps going, It just drifts away. There's one joke that I let my mind wander, and it never came back. So we've got to bring the mind back. Krishna says, yato nishchalatim. From wherever the mind wanders due to its flickering, unsteady nature, we have to bring it back under the control of the self. So the mind is a non-devotee. That's why it's so hard to hear. That's why you're reading Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam. You read a whole page and nothing went in, because the mind is just, it doesn't want to hear it. Or you're chanting japa, you might hear a whole, chant a whole round and nothing. Didn't hear anything. The mind is just, because the mind doesn't want to hear. It's a non-devotee. So the mind is in the bhakta program. We're trying to turn the mind into a bhakta, a devotee. It's been a non-devotee a long time. God knows how many lifetimes. So now we're trying to turn it into a devotee. It's a big challenge. So you got to kind of preach to the mind. I know you don't want to chant, but we're on a new program now. If you don't chant attentively, we're going to chant more, because now we're backing up. All right. And Kesava Swami, he gives a nice example also. You know, when planes go for long distances, like say from Dubai to America, only 30% of the time is the plane on the right path, because you're out there in the ocean of the sky, and you get the winds, and so the plane is going here and it's going there, and it's just, you know, if you compare the whole sky, the vast sky, and you got this little tube, you know, the plane, so the wind comes, it's just like blowing it. So 30% of the time is the only time that it's actually on, so they have to keep on coming back. So the mind is like that, you know, you got to keep on coming back to Krishna. Get back on focus. You know, don't go over there. Come on, back to Krishna. Keep on bringing it back. Keep on bringing it. And eventually, hopefully, we'll be on course. 100%. No going off. How's it go? No going off. Just Krishna. 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 Okay, anything else? Okay, thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki